How do you think about that? Do you have a story? I know that you work with ONVIF a good bit. Do you have a story where openness has changed results?
When I think, I mean, you look, openness is huge, and it's interesting how people define it in various ways. People will say someone else is closed and they're very open, and someone will say someone's open and they're very closed. There's always various layers. So really the truth. No customer wants to be locked out or locked in, whatever it is, whatever term you want to use. Our customers want flexibility. Things change, management changes, people change opinions. And so ONVIF has provided to the industry an ability that all devices kind of try to speak the same thing. And the quality of that has increased over the years. They have various. So yeah, in a nutshell, how ONVIF works is there's a bunch of APIs or the specs of ONVIF. And then there's profiles, which is a group of these specs or API calls. They group them together, and there's essentially everything's tested and devices are tested and VMSs are tested to make sure they all kind of speak together and to make the experience better and better. And I think this is a place that Pelco really shines. As we work with our partners, we want to make sure that the other VMSs don't have issues integrating to our devices and that things just work. And so we have great engineers that take care of that. But in the end, people are going to say whatever story they want to tell or believe whatever story they want to believe. But there really is a measurable difference in customer satisfaction, because when I'm working less with the various VMS partners on how we talk, and we all use this defined language or this defined process, we can work on other bugs, or we can go focus on developing new things, whether that's AI or whatever. And the time you spent on how we speak together is reduced. We can always improve that quality, and we're doing that. And in the ONVIF committees that I work with, it's just neat to see how many various companies come together to try to define that and make that work really, really well together. And then we just got to make sure that we're satisfying the customers with that as well. So I don't know. I think I kind of talked around the question, but did that answer it, or did I miss something?
No, that's good. It sets me up for a follow-up question, and that would be because the ONVIF, the openness, those are some of the responsible defaults that Pelco has baked inside of it. What are some other responsible defaults that Pelco has?
I would say everything has to have cybersecurity on it. I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
hopefully,
it touches the internet.
but I would say that's probably the most foundational, is making sure that devices are secure. And it's been interesting to see over time things that we've had in cameras, 20 years ago when we first
Hmm.
launched Cerix, it had various things in there for flexibility, and it was great and it was wonderful. The problem, as cybersecurity becomes a much more foundational part of every solution out there, there's just certain things that we can't do this anymore, or there's various standards within various countries or regions that we have to follow. And it all makes sense, but sometimes taking flexibility from the customers is a bit frustrating. They're like, hey, I really needed this. It was a helpful feature that we turn off because of just following that cyber policies that are best.
Yeah,
Probably one.
I think that's a huge one.
It's a big one that everybody has to deal with these days. And it's different in every region too, which makes it just a lot of work. But I think you can take and glean things from the various regions to make your product always a little bit better. Image quality, I mean, everybody says it, but I wouldn't say everybody's awesome at it. So we do have dedicated engineering teams that just work on image quality, dedicated engineering teams that work on analytics. And so there's certain foundational principles that you have to do analytics. There's, I would say, another one that we just really started talking about last year, which I mentioned earlier, and maybe I'm not following the order that you're going to ask the questions,
No,
but
you're good. Go ahead. Go for it.
we have a product called Elevate, which is a way to connect these Pelco cameras to a cloud service. And that cloud service can do multiple things. It can provide even better analytics than are embedded on the camera. It works with those analytics embedded on the camera to make even better decisions. And it also does camera management. And so it can make sure your camera firmware is updated within those analytics. It can make sure the camera is looking at what you set it up for. So it's like, hey, I set this camera up. It should be looking at that scene. If something changes, eventually the dome might get dirty. Eventually a tree might grow. who knows, cobwebs, whatever it is
Yeah.
create that image is not really what I set it up for and to look at 18 months ago. And the cameras are smart enough, and through Elevate, it'll just notify you. It's like, hey, this isn't the scene that you thought you had set up 18 months ago, and gives you an alert. And so it's things like that how else can we add value? And so when you talk about foundational things, sure, cybersecurity or image quality, I think everybody will say that, but having this additional value add of that camera is looking at the scene it should be looking at, it's performing the function it should be, the firmware is updated, all those things are foundational. I guess to use, I don't know if foundational is the word to use, but core to what a device should be. I mean,